I want to talk about some players that maybe we haven't discussed that much after their performance in the World Cup, starting off with Eden Hazard, which I think stock has definitely risen, hasn't it, after what we saw in Russia, particularly in the Brazil game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's an unknown quantity.
Yeah.
But he had a very good World Cup. Slightly disappointing in the French game. Him and De Bruyne had never had their memories of him, didn't have the best of games. But yeah, if his stock is risen, if he's in that category, I wouldn't argue with that. Yeah.
Because the bar was set pretty low. He didn't have a great season, did he, for Chelsea?
He did okay, but not his best season. He played better the season before, but I thought his performances were excellent in this tournament. Twisting and turning, racing away at pace, making the right decisions. If he had a centre forward with him, and Lukaku I think did well in certain games, if he had a centre forward who he could play 1-2s off, it'd have been even better because he was trying it and Lukaku was making the wrong sort of runs. But I think his stock has risen.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you a big Hazard fan, Brian?
I am. I think, to me, it always seemed if he was interested or not. If he wasn't interested at Chelsea, he'd just drift out on the wing. He'd get the ball and play backwards. He wasn't really going at players one-on-one. I think you saw an Hazard who was interested in this World Cup. He was taking people on.
It would be a worry if he wasn't interested in playing in the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, but, I mean, there's definitely been cases when players have become disinterested, and that's become a problem. So to me, it has to be the right place for him to go. And I know there's large talk about Real Madrid. I could definitely see that working out well because of the players around him. He's not going to have to do a lot defensively. He's going to be excellent going at players, and it makes sense to me.
Meanwhile, Kieran Trippier, what a tournament he had. Stock definitely risen.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got a huge benefit because Gareth Southgate decided to play with a back three long before this tournament started, also the qualifying. And he decided he was going to play Kyle Walker as the third right-sided centre-back, which ultimately meant there was a spot as the wing-back, because had he played a natural centre-half in there, then Kyle Walker would have been the full-back or the wing-back. So he took full advantage of that, and he had a very good World Cup, but I was unsurprised in his quality on delivery. I know his free kick was great, but he's one of the better crossers of the ball when he's on the move. Generally, his crossing is very good. And again, I thought, he's... Not that I think Tottenham will be looking to sell him, but he was very good.
He was lucky that Kyle Walker played on the right side of the centre-back, but he was also lucky that Kyle Walker went to Manchester City because it enabled that spot to come open. Yeah. They then went and bought Aurier from PSG, and it looks like his position might be under threat. He's a much better wing-back than he is full-back because I don't think he's great defensively. When he's taken on 1v1, he can often get beaten. Going forward, and as Craig said, he's got great deliveries with balls into the box. He's a good free kick taker. That's the good side of his game. I'm not sure about him at the highest level defending 1v1.
Let's talk about stock going down on players. Lewandowski.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a bit tough on him just because the scenario he was in himself. Because if you look at this Poland team, it was all about how well Robert Lewandowski was going to do. Yeah. It was how well Poland was going to do. And it's a lot of pressure. Excellent qualifying, scored a ton of goals in qualifying, and comes into World Cup and not really able to find his way in front of goal. And so people are going to say he's no longer worth as much. I have a tough time with that. Right. I think he's still one of the best center forwards in the world. I think wherever he goes, if he does move away from Bayern Munich, he'll cause other teams problems. He scores goals. He's very good with his back to goal. He's a great passer of the ball. He makes excellent runs. Listen, I think that regardless of whether his stock has gone up and down, this player is still a world-class
The problem is, he didn't really perform against Real Madrid either, did he, in the Champions League?
No, he didn't. But I tell you how tough it is. You've got the winner of the Golden Boot, Harry Kane, who you could say there's more questions than answers from the big clubs, because everybody was saying, and myself included, well, he could walk into Real Madrid, and I still think he can, but there's a little bit more doubt after the tournament about his ability to really perform at the highest level. But he's won the Golden Boot.
Sure.
So it's a harsh environment, this World Cup. And I think, to Brian's point, Lewandowski was somewhat a victim of a stale Poland side. They were a little stale, they were a little aging, and they didn't perform well, and he suffered for that.
Is he a top 3 striker in the world, Robin?
Up until last season, even though he scored goals for Bayern Munich last season, I've always thought he's a top striker. And his work rate was key to it. He'd chase people down, he'd win balls that he didn't deserve to win, he'd back into people, he'd make the right sort of runs. Last season, I saw a change in his game where he almost became, I just want to be the goal scorer. I just want to be that centre forward.
Right.
He didn't make the same sort of runs. He didn't work quite so hard. And I was a bit disappointed in him in the World Cup when things weren't going Poland's way. Of course, it's difficult for the centre forward, but I wanted him chasing people down, closing down, making things happen. And he didn't make things happen. So there's just a question mark.
And he
in my
made
mind.
statements, Robbo, last year.
Yeah, of
the year
course.
before, what was it? Because my teammates were.
Yeah, he wasn't happy because they didn't support him enough.
For I can't remember what the prize was.
Yeah, for the Golden Boot.
Golden Boot, or whatever it was, and he was and I think that tells a story that it had become for him all about just how many goals he scored.
Meanwhile, the whole Germany squad, stock has fallen, in particular Mesut Ozil.
Well, it has, but I mean, it would be slightly bashing just Mesut Ozil, which did not mention everybody else, including the coach. The only ones that stock went up was Leroy Sané because he didn't go to the damn tournament. But Mesut Ozil, in the big games where they had to go over the line. What game was it? The Sweden game or the?
No, so Sweden when they came from behind, and then it was against
South Korea.
He was dropped for one game, and when they did quite well, I think.
Well, he played, then he got dropped, and then he came back after the war. I mean, it was quite staggering the mindset from the coach. That being said, the amount of possession they had against South Korea. He was trotting. He wasn't alone, but he was trotting around as if he didn't have a care in the world. And when he had a chance to have a shot, he was laying it off to somebody who was 5 or 10 yards away, and then they were having a shot, and somebody was sticking that down as an assist. Hugely disappointing.